My name's Duddits, I usually do builds and stuff, and today I will look something a little bit different. I just want to talk about some problems I personally find with Destiny. You may not or may agree with me, that is entirely your call. It's something that's been on my mind for a few seasons. Where I want to start off is how restrictive Destiny actually is to play. So if we start off with a seasonal artifact, every season we'll get like certain champion weapons, whether it's unstoppable scout, anti-barrier, bows, things like that, unstoppable fusions. Now I don't actually mind champions in the game, it makes them a bit harder, but what I don't like is that we are completely restricted to certain weapons every single season. We have so many good weapons that we literally can't use, or there's no point in using. For example, if we go with something, just for an example, if we wanted to use the Navigator or even Xenophage, if they're not a champion mod that season, they're pretty pointless, there's no point in using them. I mean, obviously you can use them for like strikes and stuff like that, but anything above your power level where there's champions, you are so restricted to what you can and can't use. So I just want to clarify, I don't actually mind champions in the game, I just don't like the restrictive sort of gameplays that involves a seasonal artifact perk. Now the second sort of thing that I've always sort of again found very restrictive on Destiny, this is where this video is all about restrictions. Now if you go for something like the Lightfall, on top of all the champion mods that we have to run for our weapons, we've even got things like linear fusion rifle buffs in Nightfall, Surges, things like that. So that automatically eliminates some of the weapons you may want to use. And then on top of that, we've got Surges, like Solar and Strand Surges. And the worst thing these was actually tied to all season. That's one of the worst things. So you're pretty much tied to a couple of Surges all season. They do rotate every week, but you usually only get 2 or 3 Surges for the full week. So on top of having the restrictions of all your anti-barrier champion weapons, you are also restricted on what burns you can and can't run for endgame content or harder content. So again, I found like all the anti-barrier weapons, all the Strand Surges, Solar Surges, all the Surges and everything pretty restrictive. Plus you get the overcharged weapons as well. As I said, the key word is restrictive. So now we're going to go on to another problem that I found. Again, this is all restrictions. Now if we wanted to go, for example, do a Master Duality, bearing in mind we have paid for Master Duality, this is paid content, we should be able to go run the Master dungeon what we've paid for whenever we feel fit, in my opinion. But these are on a weekly rotation and we are waiting up to 6 weeks to run the dungeon that you need. And the worst thing with this is they are armor and certain weapon and catalysts and certain like artifice armor are locked behind these dungeons, the master version. So again, with all the champion mods, weapons, all the surges, I found this is a restrictive way to play. Literally Bungie telling us we can and can't do this and do that, and it's content we've paid for. So I've always found that a bit annoying. And it also carries on up to things like Spire of the Watcher. This is where I touched on with regards to catalyst. Now the hierarchy of needs, the weapon that you get from the Spire of Watcher, to actually get the catalyst from that you need to run the master version of the Spire of the Watcher. Now the worst thing of that is they only comes round every 6 weeks. So imagine that if you get the hierarchy of needs, you can't get the catalyst for 6 weeks. Like, it's absolutely crazy. I can't believe that's a thing. And it's all the way through all the raids, as you've seen in that clip there, like the DSC. You can't go run the DSC whenever you want. You can't farm it. You can't farm King's Fall because it's on a weekly rotation. You can't get the adept weapons, etc, etc, because you can't go run the masters whenever you want. It is on a weekly rotation. So again, I'm going to keep saying this word, but I find it very, very restrictive. And once again, I will probably mention this a few times, we have actually paid for most of this content, especially the dungeons, so it's absolutely crazy. Now the removal of power grind, like I'm quite against this really, not because I massively enjoy the power grind. Well, I do enjoy the power grind, but if you look at all the activities that we don't actually need to do in the game because of the removal of power grind, there's literally hardly any point in running all these activities because there's no power. So why would we go run a days of activity? I can just notice by my clan activity, when we had the power grind, I noticed all of the time in the clan LFG, we was posting for days, Gambit, everything every week for the first couple of months of the season. We was having loads and loads of LFG posts for Gambit, Days of Eternity, and since they've removed the power grind, this clan has just gone. Like, there's no posts for Days or anything like that anymore, or Gambit, or even Crucible. People just don't bother with them. So, crazy restrictive thoughts from Bungie, in my opinion. So I just wanted to wrap up this sort of thoughts on it. I've got a couple more issues with the game, but I'd have been literally here for 20 minutes, so I just wanted to do a quick video. It's something I might do another one of next week. Let me know what you think, if you agree, disagree. I'm always down for hearing other people's opinions as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.